One thing I've noticed is that theists love to talk about their experiences in the car.
Prove that God doesn't exist.
What motivates outspoken atheists?
You know how you mock us Christians?
This young atheist became a theist after ending up in hospital, so maybe part of her testimony may offer some kind of proof we're all missing. Stick around to the end of the video to find out if her story is convincing. Hello, I'm the Skeptic, the British floating circle that watches people make extraordinary claims and then explain why I don't accept what they're saying. Cassidy Kelleher says she was once an atheist until someone showed up in hospital to pray for her. Now, I don't doubt that she was extremely sick, but I'm not entirely sure how prayer can save a person. However, before we carry on, if this isn't your first Skeptic video, hit the like, the subscribe and the bell. That would be fantastic. And a super thanks to those that hit super thanks over the last few videos. Shane Shockley, April Heron, Crod Ruplex, Addy Rockart, District Driver, Roger Wenzel, Steve Lockhart, Shane Shockley again, April Heron again, and Rob Christopher. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe bestows leaves upon you all. More hen. And another quick note to let you know that t-shirts are now available, and you can find a link underneath this video. More t-shirt designs will be coming soon, so keep an eye out. So, Cassidy, let's hear how you became a theist.
Hey guys, my name's Cassidy, and I'm here to tell you about my testimony. So just a little bit of background on who I was before I was a believer. I was an extreme atheist.
What's an extreme atheist? Do you do parkour? Or were you so extreme in the denial of God that nothing would ever convince you? Why not just say atheist? Or does adding the word extreme make it seem like a bigger deal now that you're a believer?
An extreme vegan.
How can you be more vegan than someone else who's a vegan? It's like saying I'm an extreme human. It's not needed. But are you about to say that Jesus also turned you into an extreme carnivore too?
Pansexual.
Yeah, using air quotes doesn't add any credibility to you.
And honestly, just an egotistic, terrible person. I was mean. I actively shame Christians.
Oh, I see. Trying to paint how bad folks that don't believe are. Got it. That way, it makes it seem more impressive that you believe now.
I wouldn't even say bless you when someone sneezed. I wouldn't eat with anyone who ate meat.
Oh, wow. How did you ever have friends? You sound like a really terrible person.
I just went out of my way to shame anyone who didn't believe in what I believed in.
Or didn't believe in, right? Right, Cassidy?
I basically made veganism my god. I went to school for animal rights. I worked for PETA. You know, I was really into it. I did protests. I did Pride Parade. I was in a lettuce bikini on Capitol Hill handing out veggie dogs to senators. You know, I was in it.
I'm still failing to see how any of that makes you a bad person. And honestly, I'm going to Google where to get myself a lettuce bikini after this.
And then my life flipped. So June 2019, I had a really bad stomach ache, and that lasted for about a week. And I finally went to the ER, and they did a CAT scan, and they said it's Crohn's disease. So that's where my battle really began. So after that, my health really began to decline. Doctors were prescribing me medication, pain medicine, anything to just help, but nothing was working. I lost about 60 pounds in 3 months. I had excruciating pain every second of every day, to the point I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't lift my legs. My mom had to help me to the bathroom sometimes. The worst pain. And kind of, to put it in perspective, imagine like 10 of your worst Charlie horses just stuck in your stomach at all times. Every bite of food just hurt me. Even water hurt me sometimes. It was painful.
And whilst I don't want to take away from the seriousness of the condition, I'm not sure how you can demonstrate being saved by Jesus. Even in patients with severe Crohn's disease, flare-ups are apparently very rarely fatal. That's interesting to know.
Every bite I just had anxiety about. And every day, I didn't know what day would be my last day. Every day I woke up and I hated being here. I just hated every second of it. I just was wanting to die. I wanted to kill myself.
And again, I don't want to belittle any feelings, because It's real. Pain is real. However, Crohn's is also reported to affect mental health negatively too. And I'm not saying that's what's happened here because I don't know. I just think it's important to get some perspective before we hear how the big guy intervened and converted someone from extreme atheism to car-theism.
I was either going to die from this disease or killing myself, either one. And I was fine with it. I mean, I had nothing to live for. I had no hope. So this was about like 6 months of this intense pain. And I lost, a lot in my personal life. It's a hard thing to go through. So Christmas Eve 2019 comes around, and I was doing really bad. And I knew it was Christmas Eve, but I was like, Mom, we gotta go. I'm doing really bad. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So I'm in the ER, and they're just pumping me with pain meds and steroids, anything to help, but it wasn't helping.
Surely it takes a while to get a response from medications. But being in a hospital where they know how to treat Crohn's was probably the right idea.
And I was there for about a week, and I felt it that this was going to be my last night on earth. Like, this was it. And I was excited. I was like, no more pain, no more tears, nothing. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I don't want to sound like a dick, because dealing with pain is horrific. However, I've had some moments where I've struggled and felt that the only way out is with no more life. Mental health issues absolutely suck.
I don't want to be here anymore. I don't have any hope. I have no reason to live and nothing. And then I had the same dietitian every single morning come in, and then there was that one night that I thought it was gonna be my last, and this woman comes in, and she's this beautiful Jamaican woman, and I've never seen her before, and I've been in and out of the hospitals. Like, I know these people really well. I've never seen her before. So she comes in, and she's staying there, and she's asking what I can eat, and I'm like, nothing. And then all of a sudden, like, these tears just coming down my face. And I didn't really have any emotions at that time. I really couldn't read. I couldn't function. I was very much a vegetable. I mean, I was only 80 pounds just sitting there, just waiting to die.
A couple of things here. Hospitals usually have thousands of people coming and going, and you'd been there a week, so the likelihood of you actually knowing everyone was pretty slim. And if you started crying, how is that emotionless? It's kind of contradictory.
And she comes in and she sees me crying, and she's like, we need to pray. I'm going to pray with you.
Didn't you just say she came in and then you started crying? Now you're crying before she enters?
I used every ounce of my energy left to tell her, no, we are not praying. I am an extreme atheist. You will not, no. And then she's like, no, we are. And she goes to my side, and at this point I'm like, you know what? Talk your nonsense. Whatever. I don't even care. If you want to try, go ahead.
Oh, how very extreme of you.
So she grabs my hands and she begins to pray, and I've never heard, she had so much passion for me, but I don't know her. I mean, she doesn't know me at all. She doesn't know what I've been through, nothing. And she had so much passion in that prayer, and I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember her saying, you will heal and you will be a healer.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sound like passion for you. That sounds like passion for the thing she's supposedly praying to.
So after she left, I didn't expect anything from that. I really didn't.
And why would you? When has prayer ever been proven to actually work?
So I go to sleep hoping, I'm gonna die tonight. I was hype.
Hype. That emotionless feeling. I
wake up the next day. I have absolutely no pain. I can walk again. Something sparked in me.
And it definitely sounds like it could have been one woman coming in and saying some words, rather than the week's worth of medications and steroids you say you'd been taking. Because the fact that you were still in the hospital would suggest that there was some kind of treatment working. Why would the doctors waste a week's worth of medication on someone that wasn't showing a response?
I don't know what it was. And my mom was like, what's going on? The doctors were like, no, this is what happened. And I just kept saying, I don't know. I just have this light within me. I have a light within me.
And as this starts to get more far-fetched, I would ask that medical records were also shown. You'd think that with a story this in-depth that there'd be evidence to back it up. Since, anecdotes don't make data.
And I was like, I can leave the hospital. I'm fine. And they're like, no. So they made me stay another day, which was whatever. It's fine. But so I left, and I still didn't believe at this point. I was just kind of like, ooh, I'm healthy. I can wild out now. So I did. I started to party more. I was drinking, smoking, having sex, doing anything I could to kind of fill a void.
I don't call that filling a void. I call that living my best life.
I was talking to different girls at that time, and one was a Buddhist, so I have like all these Buddhist tattoos, and I was going in kind of that route. I was like, oh, like enlightenment, Buddhist, yoga, all that. And then COVID hit, so I kind of isolated and was really thinking about it more. And I was like, oh, like maybe God is Mother Earth and it's nature and that's God. And
really sounding like an extreme atheist here. But also, great that you're asking questions.
I was kind of rolling with that for a little bit. And then I woke up one day and I just had on my mind her hands, that woman's hands on me. And I just thought about it more. And I'm like, she could have lost her job for praying for me.
I mean, her job could have been to go and pray for people because, you know, chaplains are a thing in America.
She would have lost everything. I could have sued her. I could have destroyed her. But she still continued to do it.
Yeah, no. That would have happened somehow.
She came at a time that wasn't normal, a woman I've never seen before.
I mean, for hospital chaplains, it's very normal. All the time is normal time.
So I was like, all right, let's dive into this. Let's find some truth. So I go online. I'm looking all over the hospital's directory, trying to find this woman. I can't find her. I mean, no, like she just didn't exist. And I knew in my heart, even before searching, I knew she didn't exist.
Now, I'm not usually in the debunking game, more pointing out the silliness, but I know what could have happened here. Back in early June 2022, I was a chaplain for an atheist couple who were having a really hard time. The male in the partnership had had surgery and was really struggling in recovery. He'd suffered for various reasons with religious trauma in his past, and so the chaplains that were going around reignited some religious PTSD. So my friend Dave Warnock, who had found out about this, contacted me and asked if I could go and see them since this was all happening in Kentucky. I went to go and offer support without talking about prayer or God or any of that. The point is, I wasn't a member of staff and went in as a visitor, did some talking and left. There's no way I would have been put on any directory in the hospital. And yet, I exist. I mean, as much as a disembodied British voice disguised as a floating circle can exist. So, is it possible this lady could have just been trying to make people feel better with the power of prayer and didn't actually work there? And I know I used an anecdote to counter an anecdote, but my anecdote doesn't have any strange claims of people not actually existing.
And I had to put beside my pride, put beside myself. I mean, I had to really just admit that I was wrong, and that was an angel sent from God. It had to be divine intervention. There is no physical way that I could have woken up without pain and still be alive.
Oh, wow. Yeah? No physical pain? That must be the only explanation. I mean, unless you were in a hospital being treated for it. Oh, hang on.
There's no physical way. None. And I had to admit that. I had to admit that there's a God. There's someone who loves me that would save someone like me.
You know what? You're probably right. An amazing God that is everywhere probably took time out of his busy schedule of giving babies malaria to heal a girl that was already having treatment for the condition in a hospital. That does sound completely plausible.
I mean, I actively shamed Christians. I actively went against his kingdom. I did everything against it, but he still had hope for me. I lost all hope. I lost everything, and he still saw something in me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's not like it could have been anything else. I mean, what are the odds that of all the gods throughout history, the God that apparently came to you through the power of prayer was the actual one that was needed? And its speciality is healing stomach cramps in middle-class white women in America, rather than stepping in to cure AIDS in poor nations or victims of natural disasters. Rather, it should step in to help folks that actually have access to healthcare. Sure, the only explanation is that a supernatural, undemonstrated being performed magic surgery, and the way it found you was through one woman putting her hands together and saying some words passionately, and it likes the sound of that. So, to quote an absolute legend whose lyrics inspired this little piece, for a bit of a change from its usual stunt of being a sexist, racist, murderous thanks, Tim Minchin, this God came to your hospital and cured your pains because you are arrogant enough to think a being would do that just for you. Oh boy, do I feel silly now.
But I mean, he loves all of us if we just open our hearts to him. I mean, what do you got to lose?
I mean, sure. It loves everyone, including those that it gives cancer to. Come on, this God hasn't been demonstrated to exist, nor have any of the other gods. So how on earth can you conclude that it was indeed a God, and not the doctors that saved you?
You got nothing to lose, so just try it. And a lot of people think, when you're saved, life's just perfect. Life's just grand, you get blessings and da-da-da. And the blessing is that we're saved. And we have eternal life.
Please don't tell me we went through all that to make this into a sermon about how everyone is saved. Because again, how would you demonstrate that we're all saved?
With our Savior. That's the blessing. And, after I realized that it was an angel.
Or just a woman who didn't work at the hospital.
That really started my spiritual walk with the Lord. I still have health issues. I've been in the hospital for months at a time.
What the? Hang on. So you're not even cured? You just got better after some treatment? Well, now this is even less impressive.
Since then, I've gone through the most horrendous surgeries, so much pain still, and I have a permanent IV to my heart. I have an alostomy bag, but it's saving my life.
So you're trusting in the medical professionals there then? Or is that backed up by prayer too? Did someone pray those onto you, or did doctors do the work? These are all very important questions.
I've been through these trials and these struggles, but I can tell you, with all of my might, it is so much better with the Lord by your side.
Surely it would be so much better to not have all those contraptions fixed to you and you not needing the treatment. And how do you even know there's a Lord by your side? Is it on the left or on the right?
I was a sinner. I'm still a sinner. And he still loves me just the way I am. I didn't deserve his love. I deserve hell. I really did. And, I really just am so grateful for him. And even with my struggles, I see the influence that my struggles have on people. Even my mom, she wasn't a believer either. And then she saw what God has done for me. And, she had to put away her ego and be like, you know what? I was wrong.
Saw what? Nothing here has demonstrated the existence of any deity.
He is real. Even through these hospital times and these deep, deep struggles, I still see his hand through the whole time. From nurses praying, from being able to talk about God to people who don't believe. He's now filled that void, that veganism, my pansexualism, my atheism, anything that I wanted to attach myself to. He's filled that void. He's filled it with his love to the point where I don't need anything else. I'm so just in awe of his capabilities. And I really I pray that, this testimony will touch your heart.
Sorry, Cassidy, it hasn't. To be fair, if we were to take every testimony there ever was and study and compare them, none of that would ever demonstrate a God. Stories about how you think something affected you is still a story. What I care about, and what the majority of the atheists I know care about, is what's true. And pointing to something supernatural when supernatural hasn't ever been demonstrated isn't how you should answer things. What makes the most rational sense?
I pray that you can just give them a chance.
Okay. Do you only pray once, or do you have to do multiple prayers? Because doing lots will mean that if it fails, you bring down the average. Though if it takes maybe a week and it's the 7th one that makes me give it a chance, does that mean that the previous 6 prayers failed? Which would make it a 1 in 7 chance of prayer actually succeeding. And if it fails that much, then wouldn't it mean that prayer isn't a reliable way to make things happen? So many questions.
Just give them a chance. This is an evil, evil world. There is an enemy. But we have a savior. We have a comforter. We have someone who's by our side constantly.
And that someone is Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe. Leaf be upon her. Though she's only there if there's rainfall with sunlight hitting it, because, rainbows. But whatever you see a rainbow, you know that it's a rainbow giraffe that poops life into existence.
I still have upcoming surgeries. I have tests and the whole shebang. So there's still a lot until this trial is over, but I know it's going to be okay.
So after all that, this God isn't powerful enough to stop you from needing surgery. It took time out of its busy schedule to give you temporary relief. Wow, it's so powerful. Or, it was the science and the doctors doing what they could to help.
And if you could just pray, I have a CAT scan August 10th to see my update, and then I think my surgery will be end of October, and that's hopefully to reverse my alostomy bag, but it might be permanent. But they just have to take out a lot of my colon, a lot of my intestines. So if you could just keep me in your prayers, I just really hope it goes well.
Why not pray to not have the disease anymore? That would make the most sense. And since the God has already helped you, you're on its radar, and it's likely to help you again, right? Right?
And thank you for taking a time to listen to an old wrench like me. And I do just want to end it with the verse that, everyone should really just, first one you should read. It's the most important, but John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but shall receive eternal life.
It has a weird way of showing its love for the world. Bugs that eat eyeballs and whatnot.
That's it. All you gotta do is believe. This world makes it so hard, but it's not. It's easy, it's simple.
But is it true? Sure, it's simple to believe in something without any evidence, but is that a good thing to do?
These religions, they're trying to fill that void too. If any religion that tells you to do something, no. That's what Jesus says done, religion says do. It's done, it's finished. When Jesus was on that cross and he died to save us, he said, it is finished. Dunzo. You don't have to sacrifice to these gods or whatever. No, there's no more. It's done. He won. He wins. And that's all I gotta say. So thank you guys.
Jesus wins by dying, which technically he didn't do because he was back again a few days later, so that doesn't even make sense. There was nothing here to prove a god, just one girl's conclusions of a weird story that happened, and instead of heading down the most likely natural reasons, she jumped straight to a supernatural god. Maybe aliens did it. Ghosts, mini time-travelling robots from the year 3100. You know what you'd have to do next, Cassidy? Demonstrate it. But maybe she convinced you. Let me know if that's the case in the section below, but I'm going to skeptic this as no proof that prayer does absolutely anything. A big thank you to this month's ticks on Patreon: MISM, Addy Rockart, The Enixes, Travis, Elizabeth, Jukari, and the absolute lunatic Jimmy, as well as all the base ticks. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.